Welcome to The Sip List, the podcast where we drink wine and count down our top 5 favorites of all the things. The Sip List does contain spoilers as well as explicit content, so please keep this in mind as you're listening at work, in your car, with your kids, wherever. The Sip List does not claim ownership of any sound clips used in this episode, as any clips are owned by the original copyright holders. Thank you and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sip List. It's been a hot minute since we've been here. I didn't even look, but I know the last Sip List was recorded for what we recorded a special Taylor episode. But other than that, it's been, I think, a few months since we've had a new episode. I haven't been counting, but yes, we have been on a break. We were officially on a break. There was no confusion about whether or not it was a break. But I'm back, or we're back, and hopefully, for those that still listen to the show and are excited, hoping to do kind of a bi-weekly thing for now. Life, just there's a lot of shit going on. I think everybody can relate to that. And I'm doing an evening at the movies too, so I'll still be there. But yay, I'm so excited to be here and have some of my favorite people with me. Kasey's here. Usually he's here, and he's here today. What's up?
Hi, how are you? I am very happy to be here. I miss the Sip List. I miss the shenanigans. I hope you are drinking something rosé today.
I am, actually. The Sip List returning, like I said, calls for some day drinking. And plus, I've been in this house. I've only been out of this house 3 times in almost 5 weeks. So I am getting bored, and I have started day drinking, and that needs to stop. But today we're doing it. I didn't day drink yesterday. I saved it for today. But it gets boring, I'm going crazy inside this house. Like, there's only so many movies you can watch and show, and it's not even the things like reading books, and it's not what I'm watching or reading. It's the activity of doing it over and over and over. It eventually just gets boring. So
remember, I did that last year.
Yeah, I know. And Harvey's here.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello. Yes. Please refer to me by my government name of Harvey, Cornelius, Aloysius. Yeah, all that. Yeah.
No. Jack's middle name is Cornelius.
Like
That's my dog. Yeah. My dog and my cat have full last names.
I've told you. Well, we have 2 cats. Was it? One is oh my God! Oh, wow, it's been I'm getting old. I forgot the name of these pets.
That live in your house? You forgot their names?
Yeah. Cat was when they come to me. Yeah, it's happening. Like overnight, I'm getting old. It's a problem.
No, me too. Seriously, I am So I'll tell you all the story in a second, but I have to tell you real quick. So Jack, our dog, is Jackson Cornelius Kohlhofer. And then the cat, Pearl, is Pearl Cordelia Kohlhofer. They have full ass vintage Victorian names.
I like that. It's cool. You can, if they're part of the family, I guess they should get full.
Yeah.
The only thing missing is like a social security number or something.
Exactly. Well, I grew up, my mom always named pets she always did pets like horse names. Like, how people name horses? That's how she would name our dogs. So we had a dog named Cowboy, but his full name was Joanne's Prancing Cowboy, like what you would name a horse. And she did all our dogs like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm used to full names.
It's coming back to me. One is Childish Catbino. That's one of our cats' names. Which I think is funny. What was the other one? Yeah, it'll come to me at some point. But either way, I like to love the simplest. It's been a little while, and I think we were just kind of talking, and like the thought came to mind, like we got to get you back on the screen, back talking about stuff. You know, the legs up, so let's get the voice blasting it to the world so everybody can hear you. So I'm glad to be a part of this episode.
Yay, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And you came up with our topic today. If you want to tell
everybody. I have a ridiculous list of topics for you. I told you that.
I know.
Yeah. I don't remember what the impetus was for this, but I love friendships. I love TV friendships. We all love TV shows.
Yeah.
But and I have the benefit of having great friends, just like you two guys. But I think maybe that's what it was. My daughter is watching.
That was it.
That's what it is. My child, she's watching Boy Meets World. And I've always said in different podcasts, so and I'm sure at some point I mentioned it, that the greatest TV friendship is from Boy Meets World. Corey and Sean is the best friendship I've ever seen. Like, he would drop Topanga in a second for Corey. For Sean.
Drop Topanga for a girl that looks 1/10 hotter than her. That's my problem with them. I know they're good friends, but Corey makes me want to punch a baby. He's such a dick.
Oh my God, he was a teenage boy.
I know,
and she had her moments too. They both did. But I think at the end, and when you're in love like that, we don't think entirely straight either. So I think, what were you gonna say there, Plopster number uno?
Well, no, the fact Corey was a little bit fucking psycho anyway, because even going forward into the sequel show with the Girl Meets World, and when Sean finally made his appearance on the show, he got reintroduced to the world as my most favorite person in the world and my wife.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it. That friendship is one that I've always loved. So they were still friends throughout. And you know what? Topanga knew what she was getting into when she married Corey. Yeah. She knew she was like, they were married and she was like the best man, that type of thing, or the third wheel or something. Either way, I thought, just to kind of finish off this thought, that we should do an episode about best TV friendships. So, top 5 TV platonic friendships.
Platonic friendships. So
that's what it is.
I know we all kind of just, the way that I went, and there are no rules. This is a sick list, let's be honest. The way I went with relationships that could be romantic but aren't. So, and I had a pretty decent list, but what you just mentioned about Sean and Corey, I have a friendship like that on my list too, where the wife is basically like along for the ride.
And hey, Bubbles, hey, what's up? And those friendships, those are the best friendships on TV too, because especially for men, because I don't think there's a lot of acquaintance or gym buddy, or maybe we do a fantasy league together, but like true emboldened, like ride or die friendships for guys is not something you see on TV very much. Women have friends. That's like a staple of a lot of shows, but guys don't get that, which is why I love it. Enough of now. I'm stepping off the soapbox, but that's
and there's hardly ever the guy, even in real life, but especially in shows, it's like men and women can never really be friends. Like you go back to When Harry Met Sally, they're always going to be attracted to them. No, Kasey and I are like prime example of people who really have a lot of the same thoughts in their head and like values and like things that they
finish each other's thoughts.
Sandwiches. That was from
sandwiches.
But we'll both say this to each other, so I'm not hurting his feelings. I have 0% attraction to Kasey. And I think I've known him long enough that if that was going to develop, it would have developed by now. It's been 3 years, almost 4 years. So it's rare, but men and women can be friends.
Oh, 5 years. Damn.
Wow.
Ooh,
yeah, it's been
an evening at the movies turns 4 in February.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Oh,
so yeah, it's been a minute. If it was going to happen, it would already happen. Okay.
So. Yeah. Well, and besides the fact you're fucking married anyway, so
yeah, because that's why it's not happening, because of the marriage.
Well, no.
Because if I was single, I'd be flying up to Aberdeen.
I'll tell you, hey, Kasey, if not for Carice, every weekend I'd be out there, me and Kasey.
Oh,
well, your husband is huge. I'm not doing that, but
Yeah, but big tree fall hard. So just gotta knock him down once. Because he's getting old too. Okay. So
although he will willingly admit that he is younger than both of us.
He's younger than me. I mean,
look at you.
And I'm
rocking.
We're robbing that cradle. Yeah. So yes, we are here to do our top 5 platonic friendships. Real quick, Kasey already called it. I am drinking my Kirkland Prosecco Rosé, which has gone up $1 a bottle, but it's still cheap, good champagne. Like it.
Inflation's a bitch.
Yeah, they used to be like $7.99, and now this one's like almost $10, and then the regular champagne's like $9 now. And they both used to be $7.99. Oh wow.
For shame.
Is what it is. I'll stop like getting haircuts and buying new clothes and whatever before I stop drinking wine. That's like the last straw. I'll stop eating meat before I stop drinking wine.
Wow.
George would kick me out of the house, but I know it's the middle of the day, and it's only 11 o'clock at Kasey's, so I'm assuming neither of you are drinking anything alcoholic, but do you have something special next to you, or?
I'm keeping it simple, hydrogen and some oxygen, double the hydrogen, and just one. So H2O, that's what I'm going with.
There you go.
After this, I have to go. I don't know what I'm making for dinner for these kids, so I may have to step out. So I figured I'd be sober for the drive.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
After I come back home, though, all bets are off.
Good. Okay.
Fuck these kids.
Yeah,
exactly.
Ugh. All right. Well, and I guess you know her, but our new friend Lawanda, the horror squad, she is in the same boat. Her kids are younger than yours, but she's just like, man, these kids were like fucking kids.
And my kids start school. Well, I'm in Florida, so I don't know what the schedule's like, but Monday my kids go back to school. So
that's about when we go back.
Yay.
No, Texas goes back later because they go through like the first half of June. It's stupid.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. And
I'm one of the people, I don't know how it could possibly work, but I feel like school times should be the same across the board. I mean, obviously you have to account for time differences, but it's like, why can't everybody start school the same date of the year and end up like, I don't know.
I think there's some weather ideas to it. I think that's why. It's hot.
Well, that's true.
I think that's what it is. But it's also Florida, so there's not that much logic to things. Yeah, it could be.
I'm not gonna lie though. I am excited as fuck for Harvey's kids going back to school.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
because you know what that means. Harvey on an evening at the movies
during the day.
Oh, SK 2 episodes, fun times. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time.
We're going to have fun with that. I'm rereading both of them. I want to be fresh in the mind when we talk about them. So.
Okay, Bubbles has coffee. Awesome. I had mine earlier.
Yay.
And yes, fuck them kids. It's a motto. What's a motto? Nothing. What's a motto with you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get started, real quick, we are going to do some sip libs. It has been a hot minute. We're excited. So, and again, shout out to Kevin for creating this for me. I know he did an updated one, but I never downloaded it. And then I don't know. So Kevin, I'm still using the old one, but it still works. Okay. So this one is called, it's a story, The Platonic Picnic Pandemonium.
Ooh.
Wow, I'm glad I'm not drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Platonic Picnic Pandemonium. Okay. Harvey, I'm going to let you start. Give us a name.
A name. Let's go with Paul.
Okay. Kasey, a name.
Phoebe.
Nice. Okay, the next one's an adjective, so we know certifiably fuckable. Okay, a place
Glad
for
you
me.
remember the rule.
I have a place, I am going to say the Eras Tour. Both because I'm watching it and because of, in honor of the people who are not going to their shows because of stupid ass people. Stupid ass people. Also, how can 17 and 19-year-olds be terrorists in a country like Austria? That blows my mind. Anyway. All right. Harvey, a food.
Food. Cucumber.
Ooh. Kasey, adjective. I almost said KG because I was KG. That could be your new name, to Kasey, which was also something I messed up.
Horny.
Nice. That cucumber is going to have a night. Okay. Animal for me, I'm going to say unicorn. Go off the regular. Noun, Harvey.
Noun. Thing, person,
place, or thing.
Yeah, it took me a second. I had to think about that for a second. Person, place, or thing.
That's like one of those things that sticks with you from elementary school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good thing. Whole.
Whole or pole?
HOLE. Whole.
All right. Kasey, an object. Lots of freedom there.
Nipple clamp.
Wow. Nice. Exclamation for me. What the French toast? I wouldn't say what the fuck, but that's, easy.
No,
what the
French toast is funnier. What is?
Okay, so this is a new one I haven't seen on this yet, so I'm going to tell you what I think it means, and that's what we're going to go with. So it says enter a noun to plural. So I'm guessing it means something in twos, like drums or boobs. No, I think that's what it means, but there you
go. In twos. I like what you said, and I enjoy boobs.
Okay.
I'm going to go with boobs.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
You're a guy. All guys enjoy boobs.
Yes.
I just hang around with my own, and I'm just like,
just living life. Just you got your own. How lucky are you?
I know. I get it. If I was a guy, I'd be a boob man. My husband's an ass man, but he doesn't complain about the boobs either. So
nice.
Unfortunately, as you get older, your ass doesn't stay tight unless you really work it out, and I have not. So I do not have my 30-year-old booty anymore. It's okay. Bubble says, I love boobs too. Don't we all?
Just another reason to love Bubbles. There's another reason.
Okay. Kasey, adjective.
Dirty.
Ooh, good one. An activity. All right, I have to throw one out there. I'm going to say fucking.
Boom.
Fornication.
I got to fornicate. Actually, yes, I'm going to say fornicating. That's
nice. I like that.
Okay, almost done. Harvey, a verb.
Verb. Violating.
Ooh.
Fornicating.
Violating. It'll be violate.
Oh, to violate.
It's not
okay.
Yes, that works.
Either way, fornicating and then violate at the same time.
Consent versus none.
I'm not trying to get on an FBI list here. Okay.
No means no.
They're already listening.
Yes. Kasey, adjective.
Adjective.
Intelligent.
Okay.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
All right. Here we go.
Is nice.
The Platonic picnic pandemonium. Once upon a sunny day, two platonic friends, Paul and Phoebe, decided to have a certifiably fuckable picnic at the Eras Tour. They packed their favorite snack, cucumber, and were ready for a horny adventure. Not so platonic, apparently. On their way, they encountered a unicorn with a peculiar hole, stealing their cucumbers.
This fits
so
well.
Many thoughts. Paul, armed with a nipple clamp, chased the unicorn, shouting, "What the French toast?" Sorry, I'm picturing this in my head, and it was amazing.
Oh God, I'm glad you're not drinking.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I wouldn't be able to get through this. Suddenly, they saw a group of boobs performing the dirty fornicating, causing both Paul and Phoebe to violate with laughter.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
They befriended the boobs, joining their fornicating and forgetting all about their stolen snack.
Oh, my. The cucumber always gets thrown to the side.
Always. Poor cucumber. Mm-hmm. The day ended with the sun setting over the Eras tour and Paul and Phoebe laughing together, their sides aching and their hearts filled with joy. They learned that a day spent... Wait, hold on. They learned that a certifiably fuckable picnic could turn into an intelligent memory.
Okay.
Intelligent. Okay.
I guess.
Aha.
Bubble says he's dying. Yeah, I was I shouldn't have closed that out. I should have saved that. Imagine some guy yelling what the French toast to a unicorn with a cucumber in its mouth in a weird hole somewhere else.
Hey, you could have a really fun graphic with this episode. Put something together, man. Go to Canva and run with it. Mm-hmm.
I was chasing after the unicorn with the nipple clamp.
Yeah.
Nipple clamp in one hand and a cucumber in the other. Like, you know.
What's your French toast?
What's your pleasure?
Who are you calling a cootie queen, you liquor? All right. So we are on to now our top 5 platonic TV friendships. And in case anybody's listening that's new, we go backwards from 5. If we have any in common, we'll talk about them at the same time. So if Casey's number 5 is my number 3, when he talks about his, then I'll say, hey, mine was the same, so that we're not being redundant. So good times. And since Harvey has been gone the longest from the SIP list, I'm going to let him go first.
Yay. Okay. So when we were talking about this, I think I was just picking 2. It didn't have to be. It just platonic. So in my head, 2 guys, could be 2 girls, whatever.
I can be whatever.
Yeah. But then I was thinking, this would be my corn
search history. I mean, hey, unicorns are probably a what do they call it?
I don't
know. What is that word? It's one of the hip words that the kids say.
Oh, and I'm not going to know what it is.
We'll say it's a kink. I feel like there was another word. Okay. But
anyway. My number 5 is Derek and Penelope from Criminal Minds.
Okay. I have to say I have not watched much Criminal Minds.
To be honest, I have not watched that much either, but the limited amount that I've seen is very much a relation of that relationship is very much because I've seen enough of that to know that those. So I don't know if they ever got together, but there was just this, that show really built on just kind of this love that they had for each other that was completely platonic.
Right.
So, yeah.
And they're always there for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kasey was signaling something.
Yep. That would be my number 5.
Oh, okay. We both had 5. Hooray.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I like Harvey was saying though. I mean, that relationship, like to me, especially the way Derek treats Penelope, because she may not necessarily be the most conventional, size 1 type girlish figure type. She's, curvy, blah, 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 blah. But yet he's always, hey, gorgeous, and complimenting her like there's no tomorrow, trying to make her feel special. He lifts her up and puts her on a pedestal that, not saying she doesn't deserve to be on a pedestal, but I mean, they're there for each other like it's nobody's business. So I couldn't ignore that one. So it had to go on the list.
Nice.
It would be so cool. I have to say this is one of the many reasons that I love my gay guy friends is because they will, when we see each other, they'll be like, hey, gorgeous, hey, beautiful, whatever. And then we'll reciprocate and we don't have to worry about it being like, does that mean something? Does it not mean something? Or is it awkward? So it's like, I wish we could all be that way with each other. And girls, I mean, I know guys don't walk up to each other and be like, hey, hot stuff. But
what are you talking about? If I was walking down the street in Florida and saw Harvey, I'd be like, hey, what's going on?
There was that day Kasey was wearing that bow tie, and I was like, damn.
Hey, you're looking dapper today. Nice tie, nice haircut. Hey, that's a cool shirt. You should just all give each other more compliments. So
I agree.
Your head looks extra shiny today, Harvey.
Damn right it is. This is that good baby oil, not the cheap Walmart stuff. I paid good money. That's $2.99.
And see if I saw you on the show, I'd be like, hey, I could polish that head for you, baby. I'm I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If Carice Laguerre is listening, I apologize. I will not polish your husband's head. I mean, I would, but I won't.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
your chocolate.
I did not have them on my list, obviously, because Criminal Minds, I know I've seen like an episode here or there, but I had my favorite crime shows, and that one was just kind of like, I'd watch it if it was on, but I wasn't like seeking it out. So that's a good choice, even though you guys had it in common. Well, then I guess we'll do my number 5. My number 5 is, this one was kind of just trying to decide to put it because so far we only have 2 seasons of it, but I still feel like it's just a really, really good friendship. I have Robin and Steve from Stranger Things. So it's interesting because we get to that season and Robin and Steve are both working at Chips Ahoy, the ice cream place. Is that what it's called? Chips Ahoy? Something Ahoy. And they meet and they're funny and snarky together. Her snarkiness is like my favorite thing about her character. But you're like, it would be so easy just to put them in a relationship. Like it would be easy to just be like, whatever. And you don't find out till way later that Robin's a lesbian. But even after that, like there wasn't really sexual chemistry. And then after that, they're like each other's wingman. Like they're trying to hook each other up. And, they balance out each other's like smartness for what they have. So anyway, their dialogue is great. I love it. So yeah.
I think it's really hard for shows to write true guy-girl friendships. I think the easy thing to do is to have one of them, be gay or lesbian or anything. I appreciate when you can just write it. It's a straight guy and a straight woman and they're just friends. Because it's hard to write it because you have to just write around that sexual tension. And if you're watching the show and you're a fan, eventually we like, oh, they would be so good together, and you kind of see it. But to write it and to keep it interesting is a hard thing to do, which is I think why that's not a lot of it.
Yeah. So, and the crazy thing about Robin and Steve is they don't do the tricking you thing where you think there's sexual tension and then, oh, surprise, she's a lesbian. They make it go a while and they really have you thinking in your head, God, Steve and Robin would be perfect together. But there's never any tension between the characters, really.
Right.
I think there's like one scene where they're kind of maybe a little awkward about something, but you think they're a good fit for each other, but they don't make you think that they're going to hook up, if that makes sense. Anyway.
We fall into the tropes. That's what it is. I mean, we watch enough TV that the tropes happen. They're friends, so misinformation or disagreement and something happens. And then you think, and then, because right up until I think when they expose the fact that she's a lesbian, it got close where you're like, oh, this might be it.
Right.
And then she goes for somebody else and you're like, oh, then they throw it at you.
Yeah.
So, right.
And they even have Dustin saying in there, I think it's Dustin, you and Robin would be a perfect fit. And you're just like, no, I don't think of her that way. And their friendship is just so cool. Like they're really honest with each other. What was I going to say? I will say the whole tropes thing is definitely, I think Friends did a good job with Monica and Chandler of not doing that. They never made you think the two of them were going to be a thing. And they wrote that as one episode and the fans loved it so much they made it a relationship. So even they weren't like, these two are going to be endgame. So I think it's cool when shows can pull it off like that where you don't see it coming. So anyway, I talked a lot. Kasey, do you have Robin and Steve at all?
No, I did not.
Okay. All right.
Well, you also saw my list, so maybe we're avoiding. No, he didn't see my top 5. He saw my long list. So. Okay.
No, but I had a feeling you were going with Stranger Things at some point in your list, so
yeah,
I would steer clear of all of that.
All right. Well, Kasey, KG, Harvey, what's your number 4? Oh, you know what? Let me ask you something real quick. When I was looking at my list, and even my long list, I only have 3 sets of people that have a person of color. Is it because I'm not watching enough Black shows, or are they not doing this? Because I thought about all the Black shows I've watched, Fresh Prince and, Family Matters. And, it's like, I haven't, is it that I'm not watching enough, or is it they don't do that very much?
One thing to keep in mind is that a lot of Black shows are written by the same people who write white shows. So because of that, the same things happen. So it's hard to write that whole friendship between a guy and a girl when they're white is just as difficult when they're black.
Right.
Because if you think about even every one of these shows, if you ever think about shows where you've got kids or teenagers in the show, it's always the teen and then they've got the friend. From Full House to Kimmy and whatever to Fresh Prince with Will and Jazz. All these shows have that same, and a lot of them have the trope where the main kid has a really dumb friend, or that trope. That's so it's you watch
Theo and Cockroach.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you say?
No, that's no. Will and Cockroach. No, Theo.
Theo and Cockroach.
Theo and Cockroach. Right.
But see, I'm thinking of all those shows, and I can't think of any guy-girl relationship that is a good friendship, but not. You got the trope of like, Screech wanting to be with Lisa, and what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? Urkel.
Yeah.
You have those things, and it's like neither one of those relationships was the girl on the receiving end a good friend back. Like you maybe got a few moments where they stood up for them, but mostly it was just the whole, this ugly guy loves me and I'm mean to him just because I can be. That's not friendship to me. So I just couldn't really, I have it on my list, but so you're saying I don't watch enough black TV?
No, I'm saying you do watch it, but what you see, what I see. Because the same people who are writing there's not a lot of it. I'll just say that. Because I was thinking about it too, and I couldn't pinpoint a lot of them.
Yeah.
And sadly, the last thing is it's a lot about how black girls, women are portrayed. Anyway, they are typically sex symbols. Yeah. So if you're building them as sex symbols, it's going to be hard for her to have a guy friend who's not interested.
And always in competition, and always like first to get angry and lose their minds. Yeah.
It's a lot of those same tropes. It's a lot of it. So sadly, that's one of the main reasons why. And so you're completely correct.
Okay. Well, good. Then I don't feel as bad because I was like, I really tried to like.
No, me too.
I was like, Fresh Prince, nope. Family Matters, nope. Like, I don't even think Different World really had, but I haven't seen that in a while, so I'm not sure. Anyway, I won't spoil choices. So.
Speaking of which, evidently it's coming back with a sequel series on Netflix.
I hope they do it right. We'll see. That's one of my favorite shows.
Is it a continuation or a remake reboot?
It, from what I saw, it looks like not a continuation, I guess.
Yeah, because I believe it's Whitley and
Dwayne's daughter
going to Hillman.
Which would be weird because the show ended with them moving to Tokyo. I think that's how it ended. He got a job and he moved. So it's interesting. Let's see what they do. I do it if it's going to be done right. That's the only thing.
Right. Because,
so we'll see.
I mean, I really enjoyed what they did with Bel Air. And I know it wasn't for everybody, but I thought it was super cool to make it like this dramatic, like how that would have probably gone in real life had the people been super duper rich, not like Banks rich, but like, way, way, way rich. So anyway, okay. Sorry, Harvey. What is your number 4?
My number 4 is, and it looking at the list and you were just kind of talking about the black shows. I looked at my list, my top 5, there is not a black person on here except Eric. So my number 4 is actually from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and it is Jake and Rosa. I think they were good. Yeah. That's such a good friendship. And usually with shows, that's the couple they create. They're the extremes. Jake is all whatever, kind of quirky and weird and funny and serious once in a while. Rosa's the complete opposite, super serious, would kick his ass in a second. But I think they made it apparent pretty early. No, not early actually. I didn't watch it.
It took a while.
It took a while for them to show that she was bi, right? That's what it was.
Yeah, she's bi, and I think he's the first person she told.
Right. Okay, I think you're right. But I love them. I love her.
Me too.
She's fantastic.
My God,
she's amazing. It's good. Go ahead. It's so
hard to pick a favorite character, but. God, Rosa's in there. Like, they're all amazing. So
yeah. And for me, it's the actress because I've seen her on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've seen her play other parts. I mean, obviously, we've seen her do the animation, do the voices and stuff. But when I heard her talk and when Rosa was just something she was putting on, I was completely thrown. But in terms of friendship, Jake and Rosa is like my number 4. I love that.
That's like Megan Mullally, or like the what's her name that plays Janice. Jeez.
Oh yeah.
You don't realize that they don't talk like that in real life
Right.
until you actually like hear them talk.
And
like
you're like,
Megan
wow.
Mullally has such a voice, but you watch Will and Grace, and
she's amazing. I love her. I love her too.
Well, good choice. So they were actually the ones I couldn't decide Robin and Steve or Jake and Rosa. So I'm glad you have them.
Okay, cool.
Kasey, do you have Jake and Rosa?
I did not.
Oh, I'm loving this list. It's gonna be different.
Nice. All right. Well, what do you have for number 4?
I have a Karen and just Jack.
Nice. Yes. See, they're kind of like Jake and Rosa. Like the way they're, well, those two are a little more animated, but it's like how their personalities are different so they can make fun of each other and they don't get offended, which is a thing with Jake and Rosa. She's always making fun of him, but he's like, so he's got his ego on, so he doesn't, that's a good choice.
Those two were so freaking entertaining to watch each and every week, though, on Will and Grace.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that immediately you knew. I mean, I think for me, I didn't finish the run of it, but I watched episodes. I watched a few seasons. It was pretty apparent quick that they weren't going to be anything. Jack is gay. Yeah, that from door. It's almost kind of what, I guess Jake and Rosa could have been if we knew about Rosa earlier. But
they say it without saying it that Karen is bi. But they don't make it obvious in a way where you think they're going to hook up, but it's definitely insinuated.
Yes, agreed.
Which tracks for Karen.
Yeah.
Good choice. I don't know how I forgot them because Karen Walker is like one of my spirit animals. I don't know how I forgot them. Good job.
Considering what one of the other things was on your long list.
Well, so I was thinking about, we'll get through everybody's list before I say that, just in case somebody else has it. Okay. So my number 4 is Rebecca and Ted from Ted Lasso.
Yet to watch that show.
Oh God, Harvey, you would like it. It's really, really good. Well, I won't spoil anything, but well, maybe it will spoil. Okay, I won't spoil anything, but let's just say they have a very at first she hates him because, she's this proper British woman and he's this American guy. And, he's coming in with all his dad stories and that reminds me of this one time in Kansas. And the thing is, his stories always have a lesson, which is really cool. But at first she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And she's trying to get him fired. And then they become friends and they're just she hasn't even been that nice to him yet. They go to this bar and her ex-husband is there, which he owns the soccer club and she's trying to buy it basically, or she owns it and he used to own it. She got it in the divorce. That's what it was. It's very major league, if that makes sense. Okay. But Ted's this really nice Midwestern guy. They go to this bar, her ex-husband's there and they're playing darts or whatever, and Ted's staying back, but then he just steps in and he's just super calm. He's like, hey, I'll play you darts, and if I do this, you don't come around anymore. And the guy's like, no, okay, ha ha ha. And Ted does this whole speech both about being kind to her and about life, and then you find out he's hustling him and he beats him. But it's just, he just steps in for her even when he doesn't need to. And
I haven't watched the show, but I've seen that bit, I've TikTok or it'll just pop up.
Yeah.
And can I tell you, when I saw that scene, I've seen it enough. It reminds me of one of my favorite 80s movies, and that's Roxanne. And Steve Martin in the bar when the guy's talking junk about his nose and then he has to give the 20 insults. And I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. It just, because I'm an 80s kid. I can reference anything 80s.
I didn't think about that. That's great.
Coming soon on an evening at the movies.
Dude, don't even joke about it. I will do Roxanne anytime. I love that movie.
That's such a good movie.
Oh, good movie. It might be my favorite Stephen Martin movie. I think might be.
We're gonna have to put that shit on the schedule because that is a very underrated.
Yeah.
Classic.
We could do a month on Steve Martin, man. I'm saying.
I was just to say that.
My Blue Heaven. We could do that next. Damn it!
Oh, I love My Blue Heaven.
It's such a good movie.
Oh, so good.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Ooh,
He says we're going the wrong way. He's drunk. How would he know where we're going?
Oh, top 5 Steve Martin performances. Book it. I'm in.
Father the Bride is hard to beat. And could we include only Murders in the Building? Because oh my god,
I so love that show, and I'm so ready for season 4 or whatever. I so love that show. It's so much fun. So much fun. Yes.
All right. So nobody else had Rebecca or Tegs. I know, Kasey, you haven't seen it, right?
Fuck Apple TV.
You know that no. You know you have a way to do it. So
okay, you know,
okay. Well, anyway,
if possible, I would like that way to do it. You know, we'll see. All right.
Cough. All right, Harvey, what's your number 3?
All right, I am old, so I went old school for my next 2 of them. My number 3. What did you say?
Lassie and Timmy. I said Lucy. That's not what I meant.
My pick is Lucy and Ethel from I Love Lucy.
Ooh.
Friendship, the first real show where a woman is the lead, and the funniest thing, still the funniest woman ever on television, funniest character. And conceivably, I don't know, is it I Love Lucy? No, it's not, but it's coming. Best friends on TV, best 2 friends that are women, just wives and whatever, different time, whatever. But it was just fun. I think it was simple. I feel like that was like first real kind of lady friendship type of thing. And maybe I didn't watch enough TV to really give a better description, but I love those 2 as friends. She was always like
complicated, which was a long time before they showed complicated female relationships on TV. Right. Or even male relationships. The only complication you ever saw was the husband and wife would fight for 5 minutes and then they'd be done.
Keep in mind, up until the 80s, didn't like the husband and wife slept in different beds. You know, they had these twin beds for different sides of the room.
Always. And it's just like
hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So that they are, and they're like the yin to each other's yang. Like Lucy's the crazy one and Ethel's the one that kind of has to they kind of meet in the middle.
They balance each other out.
Very much so. Very much.
That's awesome. Okay, good choice. Yeah, I can't believe I said Lucy, but I meant Lassie. But I said it, so it counts. Okay. Well, I didn't have any of those kind of relationships, but that is a good choice. Good choice. Okay, Kasey, number 3.
I know you're not going to have this one because you can't stand the show. Because you always think of the movie first before the TV show. But to me, the TV show is miles better than the movie. I'm going with Willow and Xander from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay. It's not that I hate the show. I just didn't get into it because I love the movie so much. If I tried to watch it, I'd probably like it. I don't hate it. I just haven't seen it. Funny that you mentioned Willow, though. Wink, wink.
I think their relationship definitely, even to the extent, and it's been a couple decades now, so fuck spoilers. But
yeah, if you guys haven't seen Buffy by now, sorry.
You weren't going to watch it anyway.
Okay. Yeah,
exactly. But you have the season where Willow goes all psycho and evil, and the crayon memories that Xander brings up that brings her back from the dark side, and the emotional moment they have at the end of the season when she's back and having a mental breakdown and torn apart by everything that's happened and all. It's a really well done and well built relationship between the 2. And again, obviously it's one of those where Willow is a lesbian, but at the same time, it's still like they've been friends since, basically they could starting to walk.
Cradle to grave.
Yeah. And there's literally like no chance in hell that no matter what happened, even if they were straight, they would get together.
Nice.
Okay.
Good one. Yeah, can't really comment because I haven't seen it, but I trust your judgment. That's a good choice.
I legitimately, honestly think if you sat down and watched that whole series, you would enjoy it.
I'm sure I would. And I've seen some episodes. There were so many other things on at the same time. Like I think Dawson's Creek and Felicity were on close to the same time, maybe. And no?
No, they were.
Okay. So I think I was just watching other stuff. Yeah. Okay. My number 3, I wish Kendra was watching so I could get her opinion. But my number 3 is Dwight and Pam from The Office. I think that their friendship is so unique and weird, and it's like it's on the down low is what's really cute about it. You want to hate Dwight, and there's these moments like when he sees Pam crying outside the whatever karate class or whatever they were all supposed to be taking, and he just walks up to her and he's like, "Who did this to you?" Like he's so concerned, but then he's like, he puts his arm around her. And he's like, whatever. And then he goes, you must be PMSing pretty bad, huh? So he never like goes the full length of being like, I love you, Pam. But, she's secretly trying to help him and Angela. And just, they have this really good friendship that you wouldn't recognize unless you were like present for all the little moments. I think if I remember right, he even calls her his best friend at the end of the show. Like you think he's going to say it to, Jim, and then he says it to her instead. So
I think you're right.
So yeah, I like their friendship because it wasn't shoved in your face, but the little moments you got made you want more.
Yeah.
Okay. And it made you realize that Dwight wasn't an entire psycho. He was just a little psycho.
Oh, he's sweet, but he's psycho.
Yeah.
A little bit psycho.
At the wedding, when he's like, "Can we charge Jim and Pam for wasting our time? We've been sitting here for..." And then when they're at Phyllis's wedding, he's like, "There's too many people on this earth. We need a new plague." He wished it into existence. Either you guys have Dwight and Pam?
Okay. No, because I knew you were going down that road.
Okay. All right, we're down to number 2, Harvey.
This would have been my number 1, except then I thought about it, and then I one just popped into my head, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I didn't think about that originally. If you know me, it's like one of my favorite shows. But for number 2, staying old school, it is Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton from The Honeymooners. That's the male version of Lucy and Ethel, honestly.
Yes.
Because, Ralph is an absolute mess. Ed is kind of a mess, but he at times is the more logical of the two, which says a lot because he was all over the place. But just one of the funniest shows. Character, it's friendship, but Ralph was an ass to him so much. He talked. Yeah. He was so mean to him, but he was mean to everybody. And he was only, what I think I love the most about it, I'm too deep with these shows. He was only like really soft with his wife. That's Ralph.
Yeah.
He was aggressive around the world, but when he was in his apartment and nobody was around, the episode would end, all that, the lovey-dovey and such. But that friendship, it's reminiscent of there's another friendship that I think is literally based off of it. That's animated. That's animated that I think is exactly the same. But
I was thinking Lenny and Squiggy if they were smart.
Kind of. No, but I think there's another one that's blatant, I think. But
I didn't even know animated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I thought about that for a while. But Okay.
What were you saying, Kasey?
No, I wouldn't say. I was trying to figure out in my head the blatant animated.
If you think about the character, if it's even the way they look, the look is big guy versus if you take a minute, if you don't get it, I'll tell you, but I think you will.
Right.
Okay.
I think you will.
I didn't even go there. All right, Kasey, who do you have for number 2?
I'm still going back and forth in my head on this because
you better not leave them out. I told you I wasn't going to have them, so you could. So you better put them.
No. I can guarantee you, both of these couples are 1 and 2 on my list.
Okay, I was only thinking of 1. But...
I'm still going back and forth which one I think is a better platonic friendship than.
We'll just call them 1 and 1A. Go ahead.
Joey and Phoebe from Friends are my number 2.
Yeah. Joey and Phoebe have the wildest friendship. It is so just like, I love it. It's so cute.
Well, and even, I mean, there's weirdness and quirkiness and laughs and all of that with their friendship. But even then, still, they have like that moment where, like, there's a whole episode dedicated to the, friends don't let each other down, and when they make a commitment, they keep the promise and all of that. And Phoebe ends up reconnecting with David when he comes back from Minsk for like a weekend, and
no, he was back good at this. Oh, never mind. Sorry. Never mind.
Okay.
Sorry.
But he's like there for a short period of time, and it's the only time that they can get together and go out. And she already has plans with Joey, and Joey kind of lets her off the hook, but guilt trips her over it. But then, like, he sees her after she lets David go and leave, and she's all sad, and he's like, there's that moment of, I could really bust your chops over this, but you know what? I love you, and I'm not going to do that to you. And he just hugs her and fade to black.
It's funny because she was always good at like making him feel better. Like the part where the Thanksgiving episode where she's talking about past lives, and he's like, man, that's so cool. I don't have any memories of a past life. And she goes, that's because you're brand new. Like, she does these little things to make him feel better about himself when he might be, whatever. And then he's like her support person. If you watch Friends, Phoebe is the one person that you rarely see cry. She's outlandish and loud and whatever, but you don't see her get truly emotional except for like a small handful of times. And most of them are Joey's there. Like that whole thing, David had to leave and, she's crying. Joey hugs her. There's
Mike's wedding.
Well, yeah, but I mean where she's being like sad, I guess, where she, but,
I think isn't their friendship really interesting because for the majority of that show, aren't those two the pretty much not in relationships?
Yeah.
So I feel like they have to kind of connect because you put the other 4 in relationships that even if they didn't last forever, they were still there long enough. 2 of the people were in relationships with each other for a while. So you can always put those 2 to the side. But Joey never had like a real, which was sad. I mean, I guess they figured maybe when they spin him off to a horrible show that he would end up with somebody. But I don't know.
It was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why they did the Rachel thing, is because they knew that Joey was probably going to spin off on his own and leave the show single. So they wanted to show that he actually was able to have those kind of feelings because literally all the other girls, you get a few girls where he's like, oh, I think the actress girl, Kate, and who was the other one? The girl from Sex and the City played, where Phoebe and Rachel are really pushing it. And he's like, no, I want to keep it casual. And then it turns out he wants to keep it casual. Anyway, they were just really good friends. Very cool for each other. I like that. My wine is really kicking in. So I need everybody to ignore me if I don't finish the thought I was having. Anyway, okay. So we're at my number.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said Kasey. I said, speaking of Willow, my number 2 is Ted and Lily from How I Met Your Mother. And that's the one where I was kind of like, it's similar to like the Corey and Sean thing. Like, Ted and Marshall are really this thing, but then Lily joins later. And it's like, she knows they're, just the best people in each other's lives. But Ted and Lily have a very cool side friendship. And I love that they go back and they show like the scenes when they're in college, like they're getting high together and whatever. And, she's like behind the scenes, breaking him up with his girlfriends and just stuff like that. It's like they're there for each other. Like they do what the other one needs for each other. You know, the thing with the Easy Bake Oven, you know, where her and Ted aren't talking because he called her a Grinch. And, you know, then she finds out Ted tells Marshall this big secret that Marshall never knew. And so he gets her the perfect Christmas present. Like, even when they're mad at each other, they look out for each other. So I like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
Anybody else have them?
Nope.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I have an even better one for number one.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, we're doing number one. Harvey.
My number one is from, I think, like, there's a 1A and 1B for like dramas. My number one couple, but platonic friendships are CJ and Toby from The West Wing. By far, phenomenal. They were friends before they started working in the White House.
Yeah.
He brought her in, and they teased. There was this kind of tension, but they knew each other. And even towards the end of the show, they even teased it a little bit. But even in such a high pressure situation, if you watch the show, it was CJ with a bunch of men. And he even kind of mentions it, that she did a job where she was basically around a bunch of guys, a lot of testosterone, a bunch of men kind of just hitting on her. Not really, but kind of type of thing. But they were such good actors that at any point, there would be times where they would kind of look at each other and you're like, you know what? I could see it. Like if he kissed her right now, it would be okay. You know, but they were brilliant. So in the height of a show that I love, those two stayed friends, even though they did Toby did one bad thing, which was the dumbest, only reason it's not my favorite show of all time. The plot with him at the end of this, it's horrible. It's so stupid. And he would never.
I don't remember the end of that well.
Oh my God! I mean,
go back.
It's so dumb. It's so clear that the people who wrote the show were not writing the final season because they did something with the character that doesn't make sense. But in terms of that character play, beautiful man, beautiful woman, whatever, friends, and nothing really came about. And it was just good the way they ended up. So that's my number one.
Good choice. I did not have them, so yeah.
Nice.
I had a couple similar to that, but on my long list. All right, Kasey, what's your number one?
The greatest platonic friendship in TV history, and there is absolutely zero chance that the two of them will get together. Because, as Amanda said, he barely even wants to get together with his wife. Sheldon Lee Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
And Penny Hofstetter.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That is good. I mean,
never happening.
That whole 12 years of evolution of that relationship, from them meeting her in the first episode to... Spoiler alert, the award-winning Nobel Prize moment at the end of season 12.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just grows, and it's a beautiful, in my opinion, blossoming of, because you can tell after 200 and some odd episodes that they're not, or 100 and whatever it was, but they're definitely not in the same place that they were all those years ago back in the beginning.
Yeah. They're really good for each other. Like, you know, she brings him out of his shell a little, and, you know, he gives her course advice that sometimes she takes.
Even, like, there's one episode where, like, the end of the episode, they're doing that trivia quizzing back and forth where he's asking her science questions.
Yes.
She's asking him pop culture questions.
I love that episode.
And she's getting all the science questions right. And he's, you know, asking all the pop culture stuff. And he's all like, I'm thinking it's a Kardashian. Which one? And he's all like, and he ends up pulling it out of his ass.
Yeah.
He's all like, I knew it was that one because if it looks like her and it looks like that and it acts like that, then it
that
whole
was
big,
whew.
like she, he has literally like no pop culture.
Right. But he's like, those two look like they have the same dad, and this one doesn't. Like, oh.
Yeah.
I really feel like Raj from Big Bang Theory is essentially Joey from Friends. They're two characters who never ended up, he never really had a relationship. He dated a girl for a while, but then that was over. And then he was going to marry, then I guess, arranged marriage, but that never happened. Right. And the show ended him with him not getting anybody, which I thought was ridiculous.
I hate that.
Like Raj was probably the best guy of that.
Yeah.
I honestly have watched that show. I really hated the way I like what they did with Sheldon because that's just who he was. But the other guy's name, I'm old and I can't think of it. But
Howard.
They didn't.
He was the one character on that show that I automatically, from the moment you met him, like there's no chance in hell he's ever going to get in a committed relationship. He's never getting married.
They made a wuss out of him. To me, I think, and I honestly don't think that it reminded me of Everybody Loves Raymond, that relationship. It felt like they kind of loved each other, but I don't know. I don't know.
Who are you talking about? Howard?
To me, Howard and
Bernadette.
And Bernadette. That relationship had some times where it was very much Raymond and whatever her name is, I forgot.
Right.
She didn't like him at all. That's why I couldn't watch that show. She didn't actually like him at all. And it felt like the same thing with Bernadette sometimes.
Sometimes, but not as much, for sure.
I just felt like they mistreated him. I mean, he was a guy. He was somewhat misogynistic and whatever. And I think a lot of
he was an astronaut.
Yeah, he was an astronaut because he was raised by his mom and such. But I felt like for me, like when they had to, kill the mom off the show because she passed away. I felt like they announced that she passed away. They did an episode where, they ate the food that she had in the freezer. And then 2 episodes later, they're redoing the house. Like the house that he grew up in. And I'm like, he didn't even get time to grieve. It's like, and she wanted it, so it happened. And I'm just, because I watch TV with stuff like that. I'm not just watching it to laugh.
But maybe she's trying to erase stuff that will remind him. Like, I totally get what you're saying, but maybe from her, to me, Bernadette seems like, yes, she's efficient. Type A wants to get stuff done. Mm-hmm. But I also think maybe she was like, we need to change this so that Howard isn't reminded that he used to be 5 years old sitting on this couch in this room with his mom,
I mean, she used the excuse that it was because they were having a kid, right? Isn't that kind of why they ended up rebuilding the house? Or she just wanted to change? Because they had the dad come and he went under there and
I'm on that season right now. So
are you? Okay, so you'll get there. Yeah, I just thought that they could have done better with Howard because aside from him getting married and having kids, which is a big deal, I don't feel like he as a person grew. His situation grew.
Right.
He didn't grow. They didn't do a good job of that. That's what
we actually discussed that very in-depthly on season to season when we reviewed Big Bang Theory. And Howard is probably the one character that there's almost no growth and development over 12 seasons.
Yeah, because he was a romantic. He loved Bernadette. He did all that stuff. But I feel like they could have done more. And then obviously we're not even talking about those two. But
so I have to say something real quick about Raj, though, because of what you guys said. I think what sucked with me for Raj and like comparing him to Joey, he was like, this girl or that girl, whatever. But he wanted to find love. Every time he met a girl, he wanted to be that was going to be it. And he was going to. Joey was never like that. Joey was just like, meh. So it made me feel bad that Raj was always looking for love, and then they still leave him alone.
Mm-hmm. In all the wrong places.
That wasn't nice with that character. He deserved somebody. To me, more than anybody else on that show, he deserved to be in a relationship. And it was sad
very disappointing.
Yeah, and Joey, to me, the Joey and Rachel thing didn't really feel real. It felt like, what happened? She's pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't feel like a real thing. It felt like she's been around a long time. She's hot. she's not with Ross anymore, blah, blah, blah. And he finally kind of sees her as the hot chick he is, whatever type of thing. But I don't think that was really something.
I don't know. The way he portrayed that and the way they wrote it, I don't think it was like, oh, she's available, I'm hot for her. It was very like a slow burn. Like they go on this date because she's pregnant and they're talking, and I mean, it can happen where you just click and see someone in a different way. And then, you know, I think he felt very protective over her as a friend. Like their friendship was great. I think it was like just to show that Joey could fall in love. But it had to be with somebody we cared about, or we wouldn't have cared about Joey falling in love. So it was awkward for sure, but that was just a weird,
What do you think was the number one friendship on Friends? If you had to pick one.
Ooh. Probably Joey and Chandler.
Yep.
I mean,
easily.
Yeah.
You know, you could say Phoebe and Joey, but they don't have the same moments that you get with Joey and Chandler. And, you know, they show real life shit happening between them too. Like, you know, I kissed your girlfriend, and, oh, you owe me all this money. And, you know, just different things they addressed it with comedy, but it was still like real life shit. And at the end of the day, they were, ride or die.
And I agree. And they did the trope that they do at every show when you have when the boy's the lead and he's got a best friend and then the girl comes in and slips right between them. They did it comedically and they got past it. But every other show, every Wonder Years, every show where they've been friends forever and the girl comes in, it's Dawson's Creek, it's all these shows. But they did it funny. I respected how they did that because it almost felt like they kind of moved on from that. Like,
they did.
And they just act like it never happened. But other shows, that's kind of the impetus because it changes the friendship forever. If you watch Dawson's Creek, those two were never the same after.
I think the difference there is that they make it about the girl in all of those shows. And in Friends, for Joey, it wasn't about Kathy. He was dating more than one woman. He liked Kathy, but he wasn't like, I'm going to marry Kathy. It was never about her. It was about his friend betraying his trust. And you know, when they're all like, I bet if you just told Joey, he'd step aside. And he's like, why did you tell me to do that? Like, that's true. If he had told Joey, Joey would have been like, okay. It was about, so it never was about there's a girl causing a problem between friends, so that's how it showed up. For Joey, it was about the betrayal of his best friend. And so I was glad that and, you know, Joey being the simpleton that he is, you know, does the whole box thing. And, you know, he did some good thinking in there. Like, none of those people deserve Joey. I'm sorry. He might be a little dumb, but he was, in my opinion, the sweetest person on the show. Kindest, but sweetest.
Dare I say the greatest friend of all time.
Fuck you.
That's interesting. I would probably, I don't know. I didn't watch the show as much as you did, but I feel like Ross was a really good friend, aside from his questionable tactics with Rachel. But I feel like in terms of friendship,
he was a good friend.
He was a good friend, and he was a good brother, I think, too. I think that's
for sure. That's true. I mean, obviously they're all good and they all have their flaws.
Because if Chandler had ever hurt Monica, he was going to kick his ass.
Oh, that's it. That's every brother. Listen, we're friends, but you hit family. I have to deal with you, you know. And
he's
then
like,
we'll fight. Man.
For the next 2 minutes, you're not my friend. You're like, okay, are you still Ross?
Well, but that's guys. We'll fight. You know, can't believe you did that.
Funny.
We'll fight it out. You know, next episode we're good because we don't really hold on to stuff like that.
Just like Amanda, if you ever hurt Havandre, I will kick your ass.
What?
Okay.
Look at you.
For life.
I like it.
Good
Number one
luck.
Friendship is Plopster and Harv. I like that.
Clarv. Okay.
Your number one?
Where are we at? I think
You're
we
number
were
one.
whole
You're number one.
Okay, got it. Let's see. I'll bet neither of you guys even thought of mine because I don't think either of you watch this show. But for people that do, my number one is Meredith and Alex from Grey's Anatomy. They have had, I think, not now, he's not on the show anymore, but it was a very long, like I want to say 7, 8, maybe even 9 seasons of friendship between them. There was never any sexual tension or chemistry. There was never like, and they even do a what if episode where those two are together, and it's so cringy. So, you know, they were just very, very good for each other. You know, Meredith was the first person to really kind of like welcome him in because she realized he's kind of flawed like she was. But I mean, they went to the bat for each other hard, like a lot, like went through a lot of things together. Alex was kind of a dick. His character arc was probably one of my favorites ever in TV history until the way he left. But can't blame him for that. Got to blame Krista. I think Krista was writing then. So yeah, they're my favorite.
All right. Good pick.
And people even joke like, oh, you guys should get together and you're in love with Alex. No. And they never even give you the what if is the thing too. So you don't ever have to think about them in that way because they never insinuate that it's going to happen. So.
And just to prove that I do think about that show, I had as an honorable mention Meredith and Christina.
I have an honorable mention from Grey's as well, Bailey and Weber. One of my black picks. Bailey and Weber were good. Well,
just one.
No, I have 3. We'll go around. Harvey, do you have any honorable mentions?
So I had Martin and Pam from Martin. Interesting, very, aggressive friendship, but friendship nonetheless. He would talk shit about her, but if something went down, he would have stepped up.
He'd have been there.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Shanae had ever tried to hurt Pam.
I had Steve and Dustin from Stranger Things.
Mm.
I mean, Dustin a little young, but I still think it was a fun kind of mentor-mentee kind of friendship type of thing. I like that a lot.
They're amazing. One of my favorites.
Yeah. I had Jake and Charles from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes.
Awesome friendship.
So see, I didn't do any of those kind, but you're naming like the best TV friendships that I love. Right. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I picked the subject, I said I wasn't going to do that. Corey and Sean is still to me is number one. They're number one on my list if I had to take them off. And Troy and Abed from Community are absolutely so much fun. 2 guys, the absolute best friendship. They had the handshake, everything about it. I don't know. I love that. Nice. So that's my list. Yep. Oh, one more. Arnold and Dudley from Different Strokes.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Good one. Kasey?
So we're going to go a little bit old school. I had Paul and Winnie from Wonder Years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then my other one being Raj and Howard from Big Bang.
Okay.
That's good.
I promised I wasn't going to go 2 relationships from a show on my top 5, so I couldn't not put Sheldon and Penny on the list. So Howard and Raj automatically go to the honorable mention.
Okay. Well, I did, like I said, relationships that could be together but aren't. This one is new, so it's something that could still happen because the show's still on. But I had Carmi and Sydney from The Bear. So that was one of my other people of color choices. I like how they are with each other. Now, I haven't watched this full season, so if they get together, I don't know it. That's my bad. But as far as I've seen, they're not together, and they play well off each other. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If they get together, I actually think that would be gross, so I hope that doesn't happen. I had Mabel, Oliver, and Charles from Only Murders in the Building. You don't want to think about that getting that way, but I think their little 3-way friendship is just so perfect. Mm-hmm. I had David and Stevie from Schitt's Creek.
Right.
But I didn't include that because they did hook up once.
Right. That's why I didn't pick them either.
Yeah. Chandler and Rachel. Jess and Schmidt. And I wrote down Frasier and Roz, but I was like, nah, I don't really feel like including that.
Yeah, they slept together though.
They did?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I didn't remember that. And then I had Leslie and Ron from Parks and Rec. So Good choices. So really only Kasey and Harvey had one in common.
Yeah. We picked a bunch of, I mean, a lot of these shows intersected with us, but the relationships we picked.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because there are definitely some you guys named that were on my long list, and I just didn't, so sweet. Oh, I also had Donna and Hyde, but then I decided let's not, although I really like their friendship, I'm like, let's not bring up that jerk face. So this was so fun, you guys. Thank you, Harvey, for suggesting the topic, and you guys both getting on board. It motivated me to want to come back. I've been in a weird place lately, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and I just haven't had the same energy I usually have for you guys. And so I don't want to show up and be like, hey, it's a sip list. Right. But this was fun. So I'm glad we did this. Harvey, tell people about you and your podcasts and where to find them.
All right. So yay, Amanda, for being back on the podcast train. Glad. You can find, I hope that we're getting back into our typical Tuesday or our drafting. So you can hopefully find us on the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Drafts Tuesday, typically 8:45 Eastern, wherever you are. Change the time based on your time zone. You can still find, it's the summer, so I'm doing summer sessions of Men Are the Prize, the podcast. Every other Saturday, they're coming. Love is Black. We've been writing that for a while. Episodes should be dropping either today or tomorrow. It's hard to write and stay on task. It's a lot of kids. These people here, these youngins, yeah. And we are still, me and Josh, we've been coming up with Black Like Me, a different podcast that we started writing about the idea of being called an Oreo, Black people. And we did one episode, which a lot of people liked, so we just filmed it, episode 2, where it was me, Josh, and another member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Kendra was on with us to give us the Black woman perspective. We had a really good episode. That should be dropping. I don't know when this episode is dropping, but this coming Monday, it should be dropping. So I think it's a good one. We're having a really good conversation. It's an experience that us Black people get to deal with. And it's good to just kind of talk about it and to hear it from the female perspective. Kendra talks about it, and it's interesting too. But I love podcasting. It's fun. This is very much my refuge from the rest of the stuff. So anytime I get to do this with my friends, it is a joy to do it. So thanks for having me again.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to listen to that. That's one of the things I've always thought about is anybody being a mixed race, how hard it must be because you're tied to two cultures and they both want to pull you. And, I don't think I'm wrong in saying it's hard, Black people and white, when you're mixed, it's like, you're not Black enough. You're not Black enough. And so I couldn't imagine, because it's like, whose culture are you supposed to tie to and why can't you blend them? But if you do, both sides think you're not white enough or Black enough or this or that. And I could never imagine what that would be like. Like, that's just crazy.
And add on the fact that Kendra's a woman too. So am I Black? Am I white? And I'm a woman. So that just makes it even more difficult. Then you got the femininity issues. And then we Black people, how do we see what a Black woman is supposed to be? And how do white women perceive Black women? Right. And intersectionality and all this stuff that comes along. It's hard enough being Black no matter what your sex is. Right. Add on being mixed. Add on, we're going to get into like politics, and that's a whole separate thing, because as Black people, we're supposed to do this. So to do this is something different, and it's our people who are like, why are you that way? And there's so much going on. So it's a good subject. I think it's interesting. So give us a listen.
Yes.
Yay.
So I even think as Black men, you're more pressured to not date white women, or definitely date women that have more melanin, because people don't want you to do that. And it's like,
and
I applaud Kendra, because
she's awesome. She's absolutely,
she's a strong person, and
definitely
I can't imagine that struggle. So we love you, Kendra.
What's always interesting, and it's the last thing for Black men in terms of who we date, there's really this idea that there's a bunch of Black men running around dating white women, and 85% of Black men are married to Black women.
Yeah.
So you see a few things and you assume that's what the majority is, and it's not the case at all. The vast majority of us are married to Black women. It's just, do you see a bunch of athletes and you think that's everyone?
Down. Like, you know, it's one more. It's one more thing for people to say black men ain't shit because they're doing X, Y, and Z, and it's like, first of all, they're not. No matter what, you love who you love, but also, like, really, it's not that many people.
I mean, there's some much bigger issues we can deal with. That's not one.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, Kasey. Sorry, we went on a tangent. Tell us about our show.
Oh, no, you're fine. Just wanted to, speaking of Kendra, though, shout out the fact that Kendra was just on An Evening at the Movies this week, and oh my effing God, did that freaking episode explode all over the place.
Hooray!
Yeah, it's doing great.
So this week we talked about Tangled, and because we're in the midst of animation August, Lego Batman, Megamind, Paranorman, and Super Mario Brothers coming by the end of the month. But we have never done, up until July, we have never done triple-digit listens before, or views on any episode. And we've been over 100 episodes, or over 100 views every episode so far since Beverly Hills Cop 4. But in 24 hours, less than 24 hours yesterday, Kendra's episode went from nothing to over 200 views.
What?
Nice.
Just like that.
Ooh.
It's because she wore her hair curly. Suck
it. We love curly hair. You know, it's our weakness.
She was looking good.
Of course.
So,
it's a beauty. Of course.
Not only is it now the most viewed episode of An Evening at the Movies, it is head and shoulders shampoo above the rest of the whole field. Like, there's like 60, 70 views differential between first place and second place now.
Awesome.
So I think this is what we have to do from now on if Kendra comes back. One, she has to wear her hair curly. And two, if we're talking about a blue-eyed, blonde, white girl, she's got to call him mid. That's all we need. I do not agree that Rapunzel is mid, but, you know.
So, yeah, definitely check that out. New episodes are dropping every Wednesday, though. And like I said, we've got 4 more animation movies coming over the next 3 weeks. And
if you don't like them, blame me. It was my fault.
But even better than that, in a month, we've got Harvey back on the show. And we'll be talking about Stephen King for a month. And we'll be doing Halloween Horror Fest in October. And we've got some ideas floating around for the end of the year, but lots of big stuff is coming. You can find us on social media. Hopefully, maybe one day I'll get a Tuesday night to draft with my homies because I miss doing that. But
yeah,
that'd be cool.
The paycheck requires me to be there on Tuesday nights. So
get the cheddar. Yeah. Get that bag, bro.
Exactly.
Get that money.
So definitely welcome back, Amanda. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me. And the floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, so I actually am not 100% sure what will be coming up next. Shanna and I were throwing around the idea of top 5 disaster movies since Twisters just came out. So we may be doing that. And I know Harvey has a list for me, which I'm excited to get to. So as usual, we're flying by the seat of our pants here at the SIP list. So just listen and find out what's going on.
Harvey even has a pretty good idea for An Evening at the Movies as well. So
yeah, I think we'll have fun with it. Can I give you
ideas?
They randomly pop in my head because that's just me. Can I give you one? This would be a difficult one. Because I watch so much TV. I think a top 5 TV or even movie tropes would be an interesting thing to come up with.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know, you can bring receipts, you know, what TV show has this and stuff, but I feel like that's why Carice doesn't like watching movies and stuff with me. You give me a few minutes and they do what they do. I'm like, all right, that's the person who did it. Or that's because sometimes it's just so blatantly obvious.
Oh, okay, but Only Murders in the Building, did she watch that? Because I feel like that was a good.
We watch it together. Oh yeah, we watch it together.
Did she see it coming?
Oh, I've seen. I don't know. Sometimes she sees stuff before I do. I don't know with this one. I don't know with this show. So I don't know. I have to ask her
they
about
did a good job of.
They've done a good job, but then for me, once you figure out who it is, then I'm like, oh, they did that. You know, the show that did it really hit for me was You. If you watch You, like that show, I'm like, come on. I don't want to, I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but
I knew because I read the book.
Oh, there you go. They had a character named Love.
Yeah.
That's the person. That's all I needed to know. So,
yeah,
you're trying to deflect, which means you're really pushing me towards that. But I think that would be interesting. So if you ever want to try that.
Okay.
It's a lot.
That want to make us think.
Exactly. Right. So after your next show, I'll start sprinkling my list to you. And then if you find something there you like, then feel free to do it. They're all yours.
I'm writing them all down. All right. Well, we're gonna, thank you everybody that watched live and commented. Bubbles and
bye Bubbles.
Bubbles. We appreciate it, and hopefully the SIP list will be back. If I don't know if anybody has the website in front of them right now, but our network show, Mass Debaters, was nominated and has made it to the finals for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. And I don't have the website, so I feel like an a-hole, but I will put it in the show notes. But please go vote for Mass Debaters. Mass Debaters has been in the finals for, I think, the past 3.
Yeah, let's get a win.
Different categories, so we need a win. So
Andrea's come in second place a lot.
He has.
Let's get him a W. Yeah.
So I will post a link in show notes, or I think you can just Google Podcast Awards and it'll go to their website. But anyway, go vote for them. And have a great day. Love you guys. And when life gets tough, just keep sipping. Bye.